Very good afternoon from Climate Governance Malaysia. This is the Property Sector Roundtable Series RT5, covering restoring our urban biodiversity and natural heritage. Actually, this roundtable came about as a special request from concerning communities about the trees that are being cut on the streets and with no sense of logic to what's happening on the ground. So welcome to Climate Governance Malaysia. Quick background on the Roundtable series. It's a collaborative platform bringing together industry leaders, policymakers, academics, and corporate players. The goal is to crowdsource practical policy recommendations for Malaysia's climate transition. CGM has done this before in 2022, and it was a success with the climate governance agenda being brought forward. We have 19 topics for the whole month of October till the early of November in the built environment, power, agriculture, transition, finance, biodiversity, and community engagement. A special thanks to our partners and subject matter experts here leading the sessions, and special thanks to PwC Malaysia supporting in capturing outputs and translating into actions which climate governance will be distributing after. A bit of housekeeping. There's a Q&A box, so please put in any questions throughout the session. At the end of the speaker session, there will be a 30 minutes Q&A session, and I would like to introduce our moderator of the day is landscape architect Liew Ying is a practicing senior landscape architect at Site Concepts International and is graduated from University Technology UTM with a Bachelor of Landscape Architecture in 2009 and University Putra Malaysia with Masters of Sustainable Landscape Management in 2020. She is an ELAM corporate member, ISA certified arborist, and GBI facilitator. And just to let you know, we have 4 arborists at different levels, at government level, at municipality level, on the ground level here in this arena. So we're not short of talking about trees. So over to you, landscape architect.
Thank you, Architect Serina. I'm Ying, your moderator today. Today we have 4 speakers. And firstly, we would like to welcome Dr. Mazifah. Dr. Mazifah Binti Simis is, I give some simple introduction about Dr. Mazifah. Dr. Mazifah is Deputy Director General Policy at the National Landscape Department, Ministry of Housing and Local Governments. She brings over 2 decades of experience in landscape policy, planning, industry development, and was instrumental in formulating the National Landscape Policy 2.0 and several landscape master plans and guidelines. Over to you, Dr. Mazifah, for the topic, Government Policies and Initiatives on Urban Greenery. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Landscape Architect Ying for your kind introduction. It's an honor for me to share the information of government's policies and initiatives on urban greenery in the station. As an introduction, the government of Malaysia. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, the government of Malaysia, as I've been said before, there's a 3 levels of governments in Malaysia: the federal government, state government, and local authorities. The federal government, for instance, through the Ministry of Housing and Local Government, has the authority to formulate and enforce acts, policies, standard, procedure, and manuals at the federal level. Act passed by the Parliament or policies endorsed by the Cabinet or the Majlis Negara Kerajaan Tempatan or even the Majlis Perancangan Fizikal Negara are not only enforced or endorsed by the Cabinet or it's also enforceable to the federal level, but it also be applied and adopted by the state government and the local authorities. Example of the policies formulated at the federal government level include the Act 172, the National Landscape Policy 2.0, Garis Panduan Lanskap Negara Taman, Standard Pokok Teduhan, Manual Penyelenggaraan Aset Landscape and Taman Awam. The state government, in the other hand, have the power to adopt and implement act and policy approved by the federal government, which also establishing their own specific policies. For example, Selangor has adopted the Act 172 and the National Landscape Policy 2.0, in addition to the developing its own planning framework such as the Manual Garis Panduan and Piawai Perancangan Negeri Selangor. Meanwhile, the local authorities are empowered to adopt federal and state government policies while also implementing their own policies tailored to their administrative area. For instance, the Shah Alam City Council, MBSA, may apply the Act 172, the National Landscape Policy 2.0, Manual Garis Panduan and Piawai Perancangan Negeri Selangor, while also enforcing its own regulations such as Undang-Undang Kecil Lanskap and MBSA Local Planning Guidelines. Next. Ladies and gentlemen, as we are all aware, in Malaysia, matters related to landscape development and urban greenery fall under the purview of Ministry of Housing and Local Government, with the National Landscape Department and Plan Malaysia as the agencies under its authority. Among the key policies that I would like to highlight in relation to landscape and urban greenery are as follows. First, Act 172, which provides specific provisions on landscape planning and the tree preservation order. Second, the National Landscape Policy 2.0, a policy that envisions a sustainable nation through the landscape-based approach anchored on 5 main thrusts. Third, the National Urban Policy, a policy framework for urban planning that implicitize the outlines and the needs for the provisions of green spaces. Fourth, the landscape or the National Landscape Program, a dedicated program under the supervisions of the National Landscape Department to implement comprehensive landscape development through Malaysia. This includes the development of federal parks, public parks, urban landscape, landscape conservation and preservation, Taman Rekreasi Madani, as well as tree and green area assessment. Fifth, the National Landscape Master Plan, a planning document that guides the effectiveness of landscape planning, development and management at the local government level. And the sixth one is the standards and guidelines related to landscape, such as open space guidelines, the 10% open space requirement for development area, and compliance to allocate 2 hectares of open space for every 1,000 urban population. Next. Here are the 5 key acts in Malaysia that are directly related to landscape and urban greenery. Act 172, Part 5A, Section 35A to 35H, specifically address the Tree Preservation Order, or known as TPO. This is a legal mechanism that clearly stipulated on how trees must be protected and preserved. For example, if you are representing developer, you must first obtain written permission from the local authority before undertaking any trees felling, cutting, or relocation. Under the authority of this act, developer may also be required to provide tree replacement and are subject to penalties for non-compliance. This act essentially grants full authority to the local government, to the local authorities to regulate and enforce tree preservation within their jurisdictions. Uniform Building Bylaw, or Act 133. This act required the submission of building plans and stipulates the necessity of providing open space around buildings area including ensuring sufficient open space provision as prescribed by law. Next. The third one is the Federal Territory Planning Act, or Act 267. This is a specific planning act that applies to the federal territories of Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya, and Labuan. It's clearly stated that all physical development projects within the federal territories must comply with Directive of Tree Preservation, provision of open spaces, and requirement for landscape improvement. Fourth, the Environmental Quality Act 1974 and the Environmental Impact Assessment Order. These legislations requires the large-scale development project, particularly those on hill slopes and coastal areas, must submit EIA, Environmental Impact Assessment, which the purpose is to ensure that appropriate mitigation measures are undertaken to address tree loss, maintain buffer zone, and implement restoration method to safeguard greenery. And the fifth one is the Land Conservation Act, Act 385. This act specifically restricts the clearing of hill lands and the removal of vegetation on hill slopes, thereby helping to protect sensitive ecological area. Next, let us take a closer look at the National Landscape Policy 2.0, specifically Thrust 2. There's a 5 thrusts. I will explain to you on Thrust 2. Thrust 2, Sustainable Landscape Development, which is supported by 3 strategies and 15 action plans. Strategy 1, Strengthening Landscape Planning. Strategy 2, Empowering and Expanding Landscape Development Programs. And the strategy 3 is Strengthening Funding for Landscape Management and Maintenance. By identifying the implementing agencies, or known as Agency Pelaksana, and the implementation period, each action plan is detailed accordingly. For example, to protect green area in urban zones, it has been identified that the agencies involved are the National Landscape Department, Plan Malaysia, states and local authorities, with an implementation timeline extending until 2035. This implies that to ensure its success, all these agencies must undertake well-coordinated planning efforts, whether in the form of legal or regulatory measures, development initiative, or management strategies. Next. Ladies and gentlemen, on this screen are some of urban greenery and landscape initiatives implemented by the federal government. Among them are Taman Rekreasi Madani, an initiative introduced by the Ministry of Housing and Local Government. These programs aim to upgrade existing public parks or develop new public parks in urban areas, towns, and highly populated area, with a target of 100 projects each year. It has been recognized under the Economic Transformation Program as a high-impact program, a quick win, and one that provides significant benefits to the society while enhancing urban greenery. In addition, the federal government is actively implementing the Green Neighborhoods or Green Community Program, and also recognize industry players and individuals who contribute to the landscape development through the Malaysia Landscape Awards, presented annually during the National Landscape Day celebration. Next. Now, let us look at the urban greenery and landscape initiative implemented at the state level, with Selangor as an example. Selangor has introduced specific initiative such as the development of 77 urban green spaces. As of 2025, the state has successfully established 77 green space, covering a total area of 160.7 hectares. In addition, Selangor also implemented initiative under first Selangor Plan and Selangor Maritime Gateway and Klang River Rehabilitation Project. Now we go to the next slide.
Sorry,
Local authority.
Dr. Mazifah, we have
Yes.
another 3 minutes to go.
Okay.
Thank
The
you.
local authority level, for example, the Shah Alam City Council has also implemented various initiatives toward the creation of urban greenery. For example, Shah Alam Sustainable City, Tree for Life, Community Green Initiative, and these efforts have successfully increased the coverage of green spaces and contribute to the establishment of green infrastructure within the city. So, next slide, please. Why do we establish policies and initiatives? It is because we believe, and it has been proven through scientific research, that the implements of efficient landscape and urban greenery policies and initiatives will bring benefits to the sustainability of the nation's physical development, to society, and to the growth of economic value. The slogan, landscape, parks, and urban greenery for all, is not merely theoretic. I firmly believe that through these policies and initiatives, we can provide all Malaysians with access to urban greenery to be fully utilized as a means of improving overall quality of life, which in turn directly contribute to strengthening the nation's economy. And as for the conclusion, next slide, please. Policies and initiatives on urban greenery undertaken by the governments of Malaysia constitute of integrated efforts. However, such policies will not serve as an effective tool without the full participants, support, and cooperation of all segments of society. Therefore, let us become the agent of urban greenery sustainability for the benefits of ourselves and our further future generations. With that note, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mazifah, for the insightful sharing. To the floor, Dr. Mazifah couldn't be with us until the end of the section. So you may leave your question in the chat box. And now we actually have a few questions for Dr. Mazifah. Okay, the very first one, are there any specific KPIs or success indicators to the government use to measure the effectiveness of urban greenery policy, such as implement in other cities like greening Sydney strategies, urban forest strategies, and the street tree master plan?
Okay, 2 minutes. Yes, actually. Okay, but it's under the jurisdiction of the National Landscape Policy and also KPKT, which we are focusing on the urban trees and also urban parks. So we have the indication, we go for the National Landscape Policy because now I'm talking about Landscape Policy 2.0. There are landscape policy first, which is until 2025. So we have the measure how many, how much, and how the percentage has been increased with the policies has been introduced. So yes, the answer is yes. And thank you for the question. If you have any question, please email me. Landscape Architect Ying. I need to go right now. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Mazifah.
Thank you.
Okay. So next, we would like to welcome second speaker. Landscape architect Ruhaila.
Hi.
Yeah, Puan Ruhaila. So,
Hi.
landscape architect Ruhaila will share the topic of how municipalities develop, maintain, and protect their green spaces. Landscape architect Ruhaila is head of the Division of Landscape Development Control and Heritage at Majelis Perpantaran Sepang, MP Sepang. With over 27 years of service in landscape planning, development control, green technology, and heritage management, she holds a Master of Landscape Architecture from the Edinburgh College of Art, Heriot-Watt University, UK. She is an ISA certified arborist, NRPA certified playground safety inspector, and ELAM corporate member. Welcome, Landscape Architect Ruhaila.
Thank you, Ying.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. I'm Ruhaila, as Ying has told you just now. So I've been with the Sepang Municipal Council for the past 27 years. In October, 1st of October 1998. So can we go to the next page, please? All right. So this is some background of my district. If none of you know it, you know Kelai is in our district, and this is our size. So we are told that we are like 4 times bigger than PJ, Petalijaya. Next. So these are some of the agendas and action plan that we have as reference. So as you can see, we have the Cyberjaya Smart Low Carbon City Action Plan, which is under review, and the new one will come up next year until 2035. And we also have the local plan, is in the penggantian stage. And we do this every 10 years to see the development of the Sepang district. See where is the parks, where the industrial areas, and that is suitable with the local area, with the terrain and the neighboring areas. Next. So according to this Cyberjaya Smart Low Carbon City Action Plan, we have a few strategies that integrate nature into urban, as you can see, from 4.1 to 4.3. Next. And the goal is this to have 40% reduction in carbon emission in 5 years' time. Next. So we have some urban nature projects, and that includes these 3 big areas, right? The first one is the trees digitalization, and this is what we have done years back and still ongoing, but not very like I would like it to be intensive yet. Trying to get it back up. We have next this carbon sequestration by trees project. Next slide, please. So we calculate 400 trees. Yeah. Okay, so we would like to have Cyberjaya as our hub for information and tree learning center. And anybody who are interested are welcome to contact me so we can work together. So this is what we do: measure rate of carbon absorption, and we have database and inventories, and also for the landscape planning and tree maintenance improvement. Next. The first project. Next. Next. Okay. These are the parameters and the calculation of the tree canopy. As we know that trees grow differently in urban areas, while in forest area they are free to grow, but in the urban area they are like the walkway and the roads nearby, right? So their living condition is very different. So we have some areas that we tweak from the Jabatan Perhutanan way of calculating. So we have this perimeter. Next. So I won't read all, just like some of the introduction, right? So you like to due to the greenhouse gas emission, that's why we started this project. Next. So we calculated 400 trees. The first one is the Cyber Park area in Cyberjaya. Second one in Mini Park, and the third one is along the roads. I didn't show here. because there's like more than 5 routes where we pick a few trees and we calculated the carbon sequestration. Next. So these are the data collection process. We did it in-house, and after that we did with a consultant. So this will go for the fieldwork. We calculate the tree information access method. We have measuring using the canopy density. Next. These are the examples of some of the species. Check. So you can see we did lots of field observation, and then we calculate. Next. So, okay, these are what we got. The conclusion is successful development, application of the method, and also at the same time, we have increased the public awareness and interest because we had the taggings in the parks, right, and along the road. And also we learn about the tree size and the carbon absorption relationship, but due to the study limitation, we did not have full, not yet, maybe if there's some funding or stuff like that, hopefully we can work together to calculate all the trees inside there. My aim is like, if possible, but for the whole of the Sepang district, but just like my dream. But we try our best. So like you can see, there's the calculation that we have, kilogram cover per year. Next, for 400 trees. So this is like an example, like for one pokok cembusu, yeah, per fragrance, can absorb 1.76 kg of CO2. Minus what a car can emit 1 km. So, and the right is the public user interface. Public can up to the tree, QR scan, and you can get the information and also the picture of the tree. Next. So from the 400 trees that we did our study, these are the top 10 species in carbon sequestration that we found. Right? So next. These are some of the sharing sessions we did with UNDP and RTM, and people from our neighboring country also came. Next site visit, this one didn't follow through. It was supposed to do the calculation to contrast with the Malaysian pavilion, which was supposed to be put up at the Dubai festival, but then COVID came, so it didn't go through. Next. So this is what we hope to have, and at the same time we're doing it slowly, assessment of hazard rating and abolish recommendations for maintenance and the update for complaint. Yeah, because you know, we as the municipal level, we work closely. We call ourselves the frontliners. So all complaints come to us first. Yeah. So next. This is the second thing that we've done. This is a POC by another company called, this is Trees Club IR. Yeah, this is more, this was in 2023. Okay, this was more on calculating 506 trees. So we had the funding from the federal. Next. So like the first study was more on the carbon sequestration, and this is more for the maintenance of the trees by the landscape department. So, but first they were together with us in the planning department on doing this. So we did the meeting urban trees policy and routine work, and especially recording and for the practical agriculture and tree services. Yeah. Next. Okay, from the data, you can see they track, assess, maintain, and we get the data intelligence. So it's for sustaining the trees on site. Okay. Next. So these are the trees that was tagged, that were tagged on the ground. And we have some indication, and this can be assessed by us. And if you guys need more info, you can contact me also. So the third one is Next, together with GreenRE for the next automated direct percentage assessment. So this is like a mixture of the first and the second. Maintenance, for the carbon sequestration, and also at the same time, they can detect the urban heat island areas. Yeah. So this is for good for the tree health, ecosystem services, and also additional values for biodiversity and habitat support. So this is also increase the property value, especially for our local municipal. Next, so using the AI technologies, so they can accurately point the cloud on the entire urban environment. Right? Next. Okay, so using the AI technology, we can check for each tree. You can go to detail from they have this LiDAR on their cars, and they can go from one tree to another, and they are connected to the satellite. Next. So with that, for the digital tree twin can be generated. Next. So each tree can be identified and all the outlines can be seen here, as you can see. So when this area can be, should be pruned and to protect the area, the ecological benefits, and also if the trees have bird nests and things like that. This is like a tool that can help our certified arborists on ground. Next. So it can be done remotely and also on site. Next. With that, the smart tree inventory, you can make the right decision, the right tree at the right time, right? So data is very important, especially for us on ground, where we can go by one. Sometimes our public, even a tree with trees that are shedding their leaves on the ground, which they can easily just strip it off, but they'll do some complaints also. So you see how key all the public can be. But some people, they really love the trees and some don't. All they want to do is coming up all the roads, all the areas in town, see? So we have to juggle between these two types of residents. Yeah, next. So our second things that we do for our greenery in Sepang is urban farming. So to generate local economy and creation of vibrant landscape. So instead of just planting plants that are only pretty, but these are for aesthetic values, but edible and not just for aesthetic and functional. They are functional, okay? So also to promote healthier communities. Next. There's some of the places in Bakerscape together with Cyberview and the residents and the developer also. So we also have every year the competition between housing areas and schools for them to compete for the best place, best urban community gardens. Next. So in Sepang, we provide incentives and also we do partnerships and collaborations. So we also provide starter kits to attract more participations. We have about 70 urban gardens. So you can see we at the office also plant the vegetables and then we give out to all office mates. Next. So we also have green design, and this is we work closely with the developers and consultants. So because the submission of a plan is through the planning department, I'm at the planning department. We are also involved in the KM, Kebenaran Merancang development plan of areas. So when they come in with, their color blue, green areas like that, right? So we make sure they have their green corridors and stuff like that. And maybe some developers, they want to save costs, they put their green area parks on top of very steep hill or stuff like that. So we work together with the planning department and OAC department. So we do give our point of view, saying that they need to change their KM. Right, next. So we also have a urban forest in Cyberjaya. So as you can see, students from all the way from Japan, they came and they plant trees. So this is like a yearly event, and also we opened up tracks for the cycling, outdoor bike, and for hiking. Next. But especially in Cyberjaya, we impose vertical greenery. This is at Tamarin Square. I'm sure most of you have been to Tamarin Square. This is like a hub for the youngsters, where especially people after getting married, they have their wedding photo shoots here. Also, students after they graduate with their what do you call it? Their robe and stuff to take photos here, because this is like the one shopping center and office area where is most happening in Cyberjaya. So it's very green, with rooftops, vertical gardens. Next. So also in Cyberjaya, on the left is the arch. Yeah, you can see. And on the right is Sri Mutiara on top and Cyber Square at the bottom. We also promote for high-rise buildings to have their gardens, their parks, and their what do you call that? Multi-purpose courts and stuff like that at multi-levels, not only at the ground level, but on the rooftops and at podiums in between buildings. Next. So we also work very closely together with SMW at Serina City, and they also promote this rainwater harvesting storm trap in areas that it can become a water collection area for maybe when there's a heavy rainfall downpour, right? It's a dual functional area. Next. And also due to a seminar that we did in Sepang in 2019 before COVID, we had a seminar with one talk about guiding agriculture and about playground safety and the OAC 3.0 submission. So as you can see, the guy with me is Mr. Ari from Samdabi. He's a landscape architect in charge with the landscaping. At first, as you can see, the area on top, this was supposedly in the planning stage to be an office area. But after listening to our talk, me and some friends from the Persatuan Arborist Malaysia, he went back to his management and told us that told them that they're supposed to save reserve trees as trees. This is what I'm doing to all the developers. So not like you can see everybody like bulldoze their land because it's the cheapest and easiest way for them to develop, right? But not in Sepang, we try to do this. But sadly, from the three sisters, they call them three sisters, only two survived because they came in late. So there was water logging at the root system area. But hopefully, and hope you can pray together with me that these two big sisters can live. Their age is like close to 100 years since the British time. Okay, next. All right, the best geometric practices. It's about next. So we have discussed Panduan Pembangunan Mampan at Sepang, which is also a guideline done by MP Sepang in-house. So from the planning, maintenance, and verification of the area. So we do pre-consultation and stage to discuss with the consultant and developers for suitable designs and tree selection for the proposed area, and also the site itself, site specific. So and then we get them to come up with an idea on how to do their best tree maintenance and also then conduct tree data collection. Next. Okay, these are the
Sorry
planning
for
act.
interrupt. Puan Ruhaila, Rahman to wrap up in like 2 minutes.
Okay, sure. All right, I go fast. All right, next. So tree management practices in Sepang, so planting the right tree at the right place, right? So last time, sorry to say, one of our president was saying like, landscape, it's just makeup, but no, it's not true. So planting and planning of our green area should become during the first stage in planning. Okay, next. So just some reality where we are far behind, but we are trying our best to improve. Next. So, ecosystem maintenance method. This is getting better in Sepang. Next. So, also the question of preserve or not to preserve. So we also have this where developers, they develop their new areas, they have the ingress and outgress for their development, right? So we call up them to say that they need to get an laboratory's assessment and come up with a report. Either if the trees are not well, they can remove the tree and they have to replant with 5 trees last time. But then after SUK came in with for the all 12 PBT, reduced to 2, but it's okay lah. At least we get 2, right? So next. So this is a good problem. So for this, for the landscape submission, we don't ask them to put the root barrier around the trees, but along walkways and roads and also buildings. Next. Sustainable landscape design. So this, we don't do this anymore, I hope. Okay, next. All right, this I think a doctor can go through more thoroughly with this. Next. Okay, and we don't do this. Next. So are we caretakers or undertakers? So we have to change our mindset and the way we work, right? So no development. These are what our do's and don'ts. Next. So the key is connecting tree preservation. So this is quite important that we should change the way of working. Next. Right, so sorry to say, but developers, money comes first, right? You have to pay your workers and get keuntungan. So city leases and community and contractors. So we have to work top bottom and bottom top, right? Okay, next. So we have understanding and motivation, and so what do we need? And then we also have to stress the value of trees protection in economic terms. So our carbon sequestration, for our health, right? Dust absorption, okay, for the heat management and things like that. Okay, next. So this is some of my ideas to alternatives, developing trees in mind, and this also will enhance our investment in the building development area. Next. Some of the DGs that are involved. Let's try for this. And with that, I end my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruhaila, for the eye-opening sharing, especially on the technology part. And
Thank
now
you.
we'd like to invite third speaker, Mr. Chong Yoong-Shern, for his topic on role of urban forestry in urban communities' wellness. Mr. Chong is a professional climbing arborist specializing in tree pruning and hazard removal using advanced rope and climbing techniques. With a background in horticulture from Melbourne Polytechnic, he worked closely with city councils to balance urban development with the preservation of Malaysia's iconic urban trees. Welcome, Mr. Chong.
Hi, thank you for the lovely introduction. Hello, Climate Governance Malaysia. I hope everyone is doing very well today. So I'll just get on to sharing my slides. Okay, so my topic today will be about role of urban forestry and community wellness. So and as a small introduction, I'm Yoong-Shern, an arborist from urban forestry. So I'm a climbing arborist and also a consulting arborist. So here's a picture of me up in Cameron Highlands doing a bit of hazard tree removals with my boss, Haris. Ibrahim. Yep, so I was previously studying in Melbourne Polytechnic as a landscape architect, Ying mentioned. And I used to work with Rigoni Tree Solutions back then. And I was a professional tree planter as well. So started from the bottom as a tree planter and then went on to do grounding. So I was the ground guy handling the ropes and equipment. And now I'm a climber. So social value of trees. Okay, so a good example of a social value of trees, for us humans, on a hot day like this, as we can see, which one would you rather park your car under, or which road would you rather pick? So, a good example is when you stop at a traffic light and you see trees, overcasting the road with the shadow, you would definitely just stop just, underneath it, for a while, just to make sure that, your car isn't too warm. It's getting less and less prevalent here in Malaysia where we have a lot of large trees getting removed. Also by me because I'm also a contractor in DBKL. But unfortunately, yeah, those trees are being removed. So moving on, social value of trees. Why do people cope with greenery? So the three main things, it's because of physical health benefits, mental benefits, and also safety benefits. So with the first benefit, physical health benefits, as I said, with your shade, the shade. Sorry about the sound in the background. With the shade in our cities, it provides us with a lot of shade, protection from UV. And also with us getting out, into the open, we are more likely to be at parks that have trees and run around there compared to, running around a park, that has no trees, mental health benefits. So trees, you guys probably heard of a lot of studies, there's about almost 100 over studies done on mental health benefits, where the most famous one people always hear is, patients looking at trees recover faster than patients looking at, this concrete or the wall. So that is true. And it is also because, when we are around trees actually release uh, phytoncides, which is a very volatile um, liquid or substance, which is volatile, meaning like it's like petrol, where it's easily dissipated into the air. So it actually helps us reduce stress. So that is one of the mental health benefits, which it also provides. It's also a really important part of forest bathing, especially up in the northern countries, in Norway or in Sweden, where that's a lot of promotion based on mental health benefits about spending your time around trees. And safety benefits, like I said, shade also is a huge one of it, huge part. It also provides shelter. It also helps to stabilize soil. So indirectly also helps us where, we don't have homes just falling off the cliffs because we have trees stabilizing the soil. These are all directly because of the function of trees. We get these benefits as humans because of the way trees function. So moving on. Okay, the value of trees. So as we can see here, this is a little diagram that I plucked off the European Tree Technician Guide. So I took the European Tree Worker certification in Hong Kong, and the European Tree Technician is a level higher, which is allows you to be a consultant. So in Malaysia, it's different. You do the ISA certified arborist test, and then you become a consultant, which I also did. I've not done the ETT yet, the technician course. That one requires about 3 years of experience after your ETW, your European Tree Worker certification. So it's a long process getting there. But yeah, so the value of trees is also studied in to attain the ETT. You will need to study the value of trees. So these are some of the value of trees. And yeah. Okay. Yeah, trees as environmental engineers. So trees being, we all look at trees and they're just static. They don't really move. They only move with the wind. But unfortunately, that is not true. Actually, fortunately, that is not true. Okay. So they do a lot more things, behind the scenes. They absorb and store CO2. They manage water. They're also cheap and have high amenity value. So some of you might say, oh, it's not cheap. You have the maintenance cost and this and that. We'll go into that later, why it might be cheaper than to build like individual structures. So let's say you wanted shade, you could build just, a roof, but trees offer more than shade, like I said just now. So they absorb and store CO2, which is one of them. Manage water, yeah. So okay, so this is the graph. So as I said, with cost is higher initially, okay, and you don't benefit out of it because if when you first plant the tree, it's probably about what our company charges people about 500, around the ballpark to plant trees. Depends on the size of the tree as well, but 500 is a lot of money to spend on one tree, and the tree is small. Okay, it doesn't offer you much benefit yet. Okay, but as it matures, as it goes to the semi-mature stage and the mature stage, that's when you get most of the benefits, because in the initial stage, you will have to put in a lot of inputs. You have to put in a lot of fertilizer, a lot of water. You have to care for it, do a bit of pruning here and there. But as the tree goes on to semi-mature and mature, you are able to put in less inputs. So as per European tree worker guidelines, for semi-mature and mature trees, you only need to prune trees that require pruning. So if they have no defects, or they have very little defects that doesn't really affect humans, there's a low target value. That means there's less things for the tree to hurt or kill or damage, then there is no need for any pruning. So the cost is actually, the cost and the benefit actually eventually balances out, as you can see in this graph. However, if you see the cost without maintenance, so if you don't maintain your trees, it goes, at first it's cheap, and then it goes up towards the end because you need to spend a lot more money doing structural pruning, restorative pruning. And this is where arborists come in also, where, because we're also talking about cost, we want trees to be as efficient as possible, right? So to get the maximum benefit out of these trees, this is when you need experts to come in to ensure that you maximize the value of these trees. The 500, your ROI, increases. And this ROI is not actually visualized, maybe in like the first 5, 7, 10 years, but down the road, your children, or as you grow older, you are able to reap these benefits. As we can see in Singapore, you don't have to look so far. In Singapore, trees for them now, is such a huge attraction, especially in the airports. And I feel like every time, arborists meet and talk about the, value of trees, this is the topic we go to, talk about Singapore. Especially also in Australia, this is what we talk about because Singapore is such a garden state. But hopefully Malaysia will reach that stage soon. Especially with the new landscape plan. Yeah. So maximizing value. Aftercare, so post-planting, as I said, and pruning. So another way to maximize the value of these big trees is also to install tree support systems. So this is a tree support system. This is something called cobra bracing. So this is a form of dynamic bracing that we put into trees as a climbing arborist, where we stabilize trees that have heavier canopies. So in Kuala Lumpur, we see a lot of these kind of trees that have heavy canopies. They're older, some of them look a bit more brittle, but this is where tree support systems can come into play, where they're basically like they're basically constantly supporting the trees and the movement of the trees within the wind. So as wind blows, the tree moves with the wind together. So it's not one individual branch. They're all moving together to support each other within, as the wind blows. And this can only be done with trained specialists, like arborists. So this is a way to save the cost. So if you ask me, this is cheaper than to actually remove the whole tree. Okay, so but most PBTs would rather pick the other option, which is to remove the trees because they're scared of the risk. But I feel like if more PBTs are able to implement this, even though it might initially be expensive, it pays off because you don't have to wait for another 20, 80 years for a tree this size to eventually be that size again, replanting. So yeah, moving on. Trees are a multi-functioning asset. Okay, so like I said, they don't only stand there and move with the wind. They do a lot more than that. They regulate service. They provide regulating services. They also provide cultural services. Okay, we'll go into that deeper in a bit. They also provide production services and supporting services. Okay, for your habitats and biodiversity. This is also a picture that I pulled off the European Tree Technician Guide. So, cultural services, this is a very famous tree. Okay, this is in Sekinchan, where people use this tree as a wishing tree. This tree happens to be a Ficus bengalensis, if I'm not mistaken, Indian fig. So this, people come here. It's next to a small temple. People, come here and throw up red paper into the tree canopy and wish for whatever they want, and hopefully it comes true. So this is also a tourist attraction. Every weekend you will see plenty of cars parked right next to it, and yeah, people go crazy. Supporting services as well. So big trees, okay, not small ones. Big trees actually support a lot of habitat. So on the left, you will see a barbet. Okay, this particular bird is native to Malaysia, and it's also seen in urban areas, and they live in tree hollows. So most big trees, will have cavities. That is normal for any big tree. Most big trees will also have fungal infections. That is also normal for big trees. Okay, it's part of the age. But yeah, so these fungal and also hollows, they work together to form habitats for such birds and also animals. On your right, you will see a woodpecker. Okay, I'm not too sure what woodpecker this is, but it is a Malaysian native. So yeah, all these trees, a lot of big trees, house is home to these birds. They are also home to a lot of insects. Okay, and also rare fungus that we see that you can't really see fungus, but yeah, but it's also home to a lot of fungus as well. So these massive trees provide so much more benefit, to us as humans and also animals. We can also use these trees to create habitats for them. So normal practice in Australia, where I used to work as well, is habitat creation. So this is huge over there. So you have a lot of lorikeets, a lot of kookaburras. They love living in hollows. So a lot of councils will call arborists, climbing arborists, to make habitats for these trees in these trees. So you have on your left, you have the normal nest. Sorry, on the right you have nest boxes, and on the left you have hollows made by arborists. So what we do is we'll come with tools like chainsaws to cut out hollows in dead trees. Okay, that of course they need to be clear of any targets. But yeah, we'll make hollows in trees and we'll custom make them to the specific birds or animals that we want to attract. So animals and birds can be very picky. So that's when, a lot of research has been done to find the right hole size, to find the right entrance, to find the right void in the tree to allow for these birds and animals to thrive. Yep. Okay, so yeah, I think that is about it. If there's any questions, please let me check the chat box. If there's anything.
Thanks, Mr. Chong.
Yeah, no worries.
So don't forget to write down your question in the Q&A box. Thanks, Mr. Chong, for the lovely sharing, especially you speak for the fauna, like the birds, or that how trees benefits for not only human, but the rest of the creature.
Yeah, definitely. Because I feel like, maybe emphasize a bit too much on the fauna, but I feel like we tend to overlook what other benefits trees can provide to fauna as well. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chong. So last but not least, we have Prof. Ainuddin, our fourth speaker. Professor Dr. Ahmad Ainuddin Nuruddin, we call him Prof. Ain, with the topic of role of arborists in tree management, protecting and growing green spaces in our communities. Prof. Ain is Professor Amal Putra at UPM Introp, a certified arborist and expert in forest fire management and arboriculture. He has led national and international projects, authored over 130 publications. He is also one of the former president of Malaysia Arborist Association, PAM. Thank you, Prof. Ain. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Landscape Architect Liew, and also Architect Dr. Serina Hijjas. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present, and also welcome to the participants of the Climate Governance Malaysia panel discussion participants. So today I will be presenting on the role of arborists in tree management and green spaces.
Sorry, Prof. Need to unmute. I think wrongly pressed. Thank you.
Okay, my presentation will be not much, mainly discussion on the urban biodiversity and natural heritage, and some of the speakers touch on it. Then I'll be discussing on who is an arborist. Third will be on the arborist contribution to protecting green spaces. 4 challenges faced by arborists in Malaysia. 5th will be policy and governance recommendation, and 6th will be summary. Okay, as mentioned by the speakers, the trees made up part of the urban biodiversity and national heritage. Basically, it is not only the trees, but combinations of flora and fauna in the city ecosystem. And these combinations of trees, animals, and so make up the character of the city. So different cities will have different composition of species, trees, and also different animals and so on. So, and these are natural processes. They are organically living systems. So it's very important for us to really monitor these processes. And as mentioned earlier, the trees and also the urban forests play an important role in giving us the ecosystem services to the people of the city, climate moderation. You can reduce temperature, reduction of pollution, improving the well-being of the community, and also improve the cultural identity of the city and also urban resilience. And so different cities have different programs in improving and also enhancing the ecosystem services provided by the urban biodiversity and natural ecosystem. And these things are important. So tree is a big part of it. So it's important that we give attention to trees. And who will take care of trees? So the group of people or the profession who will be taking care of the trees is what we call a arborist. So who is an arborist? He or she is a in the science and practice is that the cultivation and care of individual trees, shrubs, and other woody plants. So basically, we are looking at taking care of individual trees or shrubs. And arborists are knowledgeable about the needs of trees and are trained and equipped to provide proper care. And arborists are different levels of arborists, and the one that has a competency is what we call the certified arborists, which are certified by professional bodies. There are many countries which have different certification and certified by the International Society of Arboriculture, which is based in Atlanta, Georgia. And we have a course and also the examination of to be a certified arborist. And I am one of the proctor of the examination. And for people to take this examination, they have to be at least 3 years involved in the industry and recommended by their supervisor. And arborists works in collaboration with urban planners, landscape architects, and ecologists. And arborists also known as by different names, arboriculturalists, tree doctor, tree surgeon, and so on. So there are different names for arborists. So I prepared what I call a arborist tree care continuum. Okay, basically, what some of the activities that arborists does. We know that trees, when we talk about trees, we have to see trees from the start is planted or before it's planted until it died and it's been removed. So all the continuum, there's a role where arborists plays an important role. For example, before planting the site, the arborists will go first and do what we call arboriculture impact assessment report, which is now mandated by the public work department, in which the arborists will look at the site and look what are the trees there that can be preserved. We do not want the practices of just clearing the area before thinking what is the available trees are there which can benefit the site. And also the arborists also have to look at the site and see what kind of site it is, and from that only you can select what are the trees that can so there is on the early phase of the planting of the trees. And also the arborists also for planting materials, so they have to go to the nursery and choose a good quality planting materials. So this is very important. We cannot choose defect planting materials and plant and hope that the tree will grow, establish, successful. So we have to go and at the nursery and choose the best available planting material. Then we have the planting itself. So we have to look at the soil, the type of soil, the drainage, and also we also have to look at the plant characteristics. What do you want? What is the function of the planting? Is it to have an aesthetic value, or you have to plant as a noise screening, or to absorb carbon dioxide? So different function of the trees will have different species that will be recommended. So once the tree is planted, then you want to monitor how healthy is the tree. So this will come as a plant health care. We look at the different types of diseases and pests that can occur on the tree. And also during that also, when trees are planted in urban areas, usually is exposed to different activities. You know, when you build a road, then after 1 month or 6 months, then you will see that some people will start tunneling on the road and so on. So this also will affect the trees. It affects the root system and so on. When we talk about trees, we look at the upper part of the trees and also the below ground of the trees, the root and also the stem and the shoot. And then we have the once the tree grows, you need to be pruned. So what kind of pruning? This is where Mr. Chong will come and help to prune different types of pruning, crown lifting, deadwood pruning, and so on. This will be helped through the advice of arborists. Then we have the tree risk assessment. When the tree grows big, so what is the risk of the structure integrity of the trees? So that is also important because big trees may have higher risk of failure and so on. So we need to look at that and give recommendation and mitigation to the local authority. And when there is emergency so then we have what we call emergency tree care. This where we have people come and remove the tree and so on. They also need the advice of arborists. Then you have the tree remover when the trees are big and so on. It needs to be removed. So when the trees are in certain areas, you just cannot fell the trees because it may affect the other structure and so on and so forth. So you have to remove the tree in the correct way. And after that, after tree removal, also the arborists were also involved in litigation when you see the trees affect somebody, it destroy the property and so on. So there will be a court case and people will consult arborists in terms of giving expert witness and so on and so forth. So these are the activities that arborists do. So it is from the trees are planted until the trees are removed. So it's quite a big spectrum of activities that arborists must do. So, and in terms of green spaces, arborists play an important role. For example, I mentioned about the importance of the tree health assessment, because this will ensure that trees grow longer. Because in urban environment, the trees are subjected to stress. So how do you want to mitigate this stress? By having a good health assessment and also mitigation measures. And then we also help to preserve native and heritage trees during development projects. So arborists can assess the trees and will recommend whether it can be transferred or it can be further enhanced to preserve these old and heritage trees. And arborists also helps to select a diverse native species to enhance ecosystem complexity, because in urban areas, really the trees are very they planted few species because of the choice and so on. But to enhance the ecosystem and also the wildlife in the city, you need to have different types of species which can provide food and so on, and this will increase biodiversity. And then also the role of the arborist is to reduce invasive species. We know now that in certain areas, there are some plants that are introduced and can affect, which are from outside the country and affect the tree ecosystem of the cities. And then we also helps in terms of developing management plan of this. Since Abu is new in terms of the profession in Malaysia, so there is what we call a limited recognition and integration in urban planning. But things have improved. Now arborists are involved in, for example, for the arboriculture impact planning report. For example, there's a good initiative from the Public Works Department to involve arborists earlier on in the site planning and so on. And also in terms of low-term maintenance, usually there is a budget constraint. So this will also affect the arborist activities in terms of doing maintenance and pruning and so on. And they also have conflicting priorities between safety and biodiversity. So that one has to be discussed between the 6 stakeholders. But usually we will focus on the safety. So because that is important, it deals with materials, properties, and life, and so on. So basically, safety is usually given more priorities than biodiversity. And then we have a lack of local data on native urban tree species performance, because we have a lot of species. So what are the species that can function in different aspects and so on? JLN has developed certain manuals and also different species recommendation, and also frame has also come up of it. But we want more of the trees species property owner, what trees to plant and so on and so forth. So in terms of policy and governance recommendation for the way forward is to recognize arboriculture as a key component in urban biodiversity strategies, integrate certified arborist immunization planning and project approvals, and now the Ministry of the town KPKT are looking into it, and they are asking the local authority to employ or to have people trained in arboriculture so that they can benefit the local authorities. Next will be the develop national and local guidelines of tree protection and management. You have seen that different local authority has come up with their own guideline. Congratulations for the Sepang. The Kuala Lumpur Bandaraya also has their own guideline and so on. So this is a good effort, and also this will help in terms of management of tree in the local authorities. The recommendation policy will be incentivize training, certification, and professional development. This is also training of the contractors who take care of the trees, who manage the trees. So this is important, because with knowledge, you can manage the tree better. And the other thing also is to encourage community participation and education. It's important that management of trees is not only by the local authorities or by the professional, but we need the inclusion of community in terms of understanding and also taking care of the trees. So as summary, I know the time is up. As a summary, arborists are vital stewards of urban biodiversity and natural heritage. Their expertise ensures healthy, resilient, and diverse urban forests. And supporting arboriculture is key to Malaysia's sustainable urban future. So with that, I start the presentation and looking forward for the question. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Ain, for the short and sweet sharing, especially on the arborist role, and introduce how arborist scope of works. So we would like to proceed with Q&A section. Let's start from the Q&A chat box first. Okay, we have the very first question from one of the attendees who not wish to disclose he or her name, but very short, very long question. I read out a few only now. Reliable, how about having a directory or list of reliable international society of arboriculture certified arborists? I think this another attendee, Shamin Chi, also asked for this directory. Same goal for reliable landscape companies. which adopt good landscape practice. And he described this directory, the benefits of the directory and how it can help the community to look for this professional, so-called professional. Yeah. So I would like to invite Prof. Ain to answer this question. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the answer. For the list of certified arborists, you can go to the International Society of Agriculture. Then you can look at the list of the certified arborists from Malaysia. So, but you have to, there's a filter where you put the country. So that you come a list of certified arborists which are from Malaysia. These are based on the those who they allow their name to be displayed. For the certified arborists from Malaysia who did not want their name to be displayed, so they will not be in the list. So that number one. And also you can look at the PALM website also. So there is also the list that you can use. And also the Persatuan Arboris Malaysia Society of Arboris, they have a website. And also they have page, Facebook page. And you can also look at information and inquire anything about trees from that Facebook. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Ain. For the second question from Mr. Lachan, local press often expose alike illegal land clearing in different states, with apparently little or no enforcement. How effective is national successful in attempt manage such violence? Can I invite one of landscape architect Ruhaila to answer on behalf? One need to unmute, yeah.
The question is in the chat box, right?
Yes, chat box one.
Yeah, I'm looking through. The question is number.
Consider the third portion.
Third portion.
Yeah, basically, I
specific
think
KPI.
The question mostly how
KPI.
Because the landowner or the developer will bulldoze and clear the land. So I think the question will be on as government how we can prevent this violence to continue happen.
Oh, okay. How we can stop that, right? Okay. Sadly, there's no like an act where you can stop them because okay, Akta Parit dan Jalan maybe you call land clearing without permission. You see, that's under engineering department. But most of the time, sadly, they still do it. I think we have to have more engagement with the public, like what we did. We have seminars, we have focus group discussions. We sit down with the developers. So when they come in to develop in Sepang for their new developments, they tend to stop doing that. So they come and have pre-consultation with us first. So that's what we do there in Sepang.
Thank you, landscape architect Ruhaila. Another question I just wonder, because we do have tree preservation order, is Distinct Act, but why not all local authority enforce it? I mean, enforce in terms of really go for it.
Okay, since most of us, the local councils, we move on our own, okay, Ying. So it mostly depends on the officers also in the local councils on how thoroughly you want to impose it. So like maybe we can work together with our father, the Jabatan Landscape Negara, and we'll see and we'll get to sit down and maybe have more engagement with the officers and also with the developers. Because maybe we can start off with the big developers like what I showed just now. Sam Dabi is one of the big developers. And Setia Ecoglades also, SP Setia. So like if my advice to other PPT is that we can start small steps, but in the long run, soon enough, all the other developers coming in will do the same. For example, like what I do, I think I'm the only PPT in Sepang. This is on another, more on the social for children. Okay, so I impose this Malaysian standard by CGM for the safety standards for the background. You see, so it takes the officers to start doing something first, I think. Yeah, but the most important thing is the engagement with your developers and the consultants. So since we start doing it, the developers even do this start doing these drawings with the safety standard in other PPT like Subang Jaya or other places where they don't impose it. So it all starts with connecting and networking.
Thank you, Landscape Architect Ruhaila. Thanks for the effort and what MP Sepang imposed for now. And we go for the next question. How can this one from Injab Muhammad Razali? Can we ensure that the urban greenery stays green? There are many instances that this green area have been turned into some other land use.
Yes, that's one. This is where we have to work together with our planners. Planners from Plan Malaysia, also our own planner. Luckily, I'm in the planning department also. But when I was in the landscape department, we did work closely together. So we give our ideas during the rancangan tempatan when they do up all the areas, where's the industrial area, where's the residential areas. So we keep our green spaces, like especially the hutan simpan, right? Hutan simpan kekal. It's called hutan simpan kekal, meaning it should be kekal lah kan, Wai, right? So,
Yes.
oh sorry, calling you Wai, is that okay? Sorry. Okay. I think it's up to us, and then we have to work together with the district office, the land office, and we plan. And where in Sepang, I give my comments also during the kebenaran merancang. That is the most important thing I think all landscape architects should start doing now. Because when the submission comes to the landscape part for the landscape submission, all the big parks or the perimeter planting or the green spaces are already diluluskan, you see. So you are left only with maybe small pocket places, not a big central park and things like that. And then we have to make sure that the greenery in front of the houses are also big and large enough for planting of the trees, even on the road medians. So again, networking, and this is with our friends, counterparts as the planners. And engineers also, yeah.
Right. Thank you, Landscape Architect Ruhaila. And the next question from me, Shamin Chi, like what Prof. Ain replied, I also typed the website in the answer column. So whoever interested, you might click on the PALM website or the ISA Fine and Arborist website to look for Malaysia Certified Arborist.
Come, we welcome more CAs, right? Yeah.
Now we've got to the chat, webinar chat column, because I saw some others question as well.
I've answered 2 questions.
Okay, is there an urban tree playbook for tropical application? How are we preparing for climate change impact on these trees? Prof. Ain or Mr. Chong would like to answer?
We can get PALM to do it, right? What was the question?
Any consider like any
guideline books
for tropical condition is like because right now ISA is actually from university, so a lot of people will think that the study on this ISA guidebook the arboriculture guideline is on their country's trees. So
Temperate,
is
yeah.
there any tropical trees guidebook for arboriculture?
I think we were doing it, right? Fourth? Yeah.
Yeah, there are manuals that produced under JLN.
Jabatan Landscape.
So there are different manuals, for example, how to do pruning. So these are tailored for our trees. What are the pests and
Tropical trees,
diseases of the amenities trees? So you can get it from the Jabatan Landscape Negara, and I think there are process in terms of upgrading these manuals, because it was done, I think, 10 years ago. So they are in a process of upgrading the manuals that can be used for arboriculture activities in Malaysia.
I think I'd like to add, Dr. and Ying, they also have a new book on roadside planting tropical trees, Malaysian trees last year, right, Doctor?
Yeah,
Not
they
mistaken.
give
Yeah.
different species that can be used.
Yes. I can't remember the name of the book, but it's by Jabatan Landscape Negara.
It's not open for public purchase yet. I think it's a
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Not yet. Yeah.
Government local authorities.
Yes.
But I believe that
You can
one
share.
that book is very useful once they publish.
True.
And Frame also has produced books on different
lots of
species,
journals.
for urban landscape. But it was a long time ago, so maybe they need to upgrade that book.
Jom, Doctor, let's write some books.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Calibrate.
So another question from Mr. Gore from MB Kuching,
Yeah.
Bandaraya Kuching.
Yeah. I already answered earlier, Ying. Regarding the maintenance.
Another question.
Climate Adaptation Center.
If there are any arborist courses where I can attend to better myself, I'm in the field of landscape maintenance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, we the Persatuan Arborist Malaysia regularly what do you call it, organize courses. I think that recently they organized is how to guide of identifying trees, for example. So yes, they do have different courses. So to know what courses are being offered is to follow the Facebook of Persatuan Arborist Malaysia. From then they have advertisement and calls for the courses. And hopefully we are planning also next year to have a conference on arboriculture. So that one we will announce later, but we are in the planning stage of organizing for next year. What we call INTEC, International Tropical Arboriculture 2026 next year, hopefully.
I would also like to add, I think the closest course, or not even course, I think also the closest event PALM is going to have is the KL Park Festival that's actually happening this
soon,
weekend. So it's on a Friday until next Sunday. So there'll be workshops and also talks held by PALM and also other societies, and also a lot of landscape architects will be there as well. So feel free to just drop by. It's happening for 2 weeks. Weekdays will have talks, and also weekends will also have talks.
Where is it going to be?
KL Park Festival will be held in Titi Wangsa Park.
You're looking for speakers also, right, Mr. Young?
Yes, correct. But yes, I'll be
You're
there.
one of them, right? So if you want to listen to Young,
I'll be there for another association. So I'm under MTWA.
I see.
Yeah, the Malaysian.
Alright.
It's just side
For
by
the
side.
workers.
So yeah, so we'll be doing the climbing and also the on the field talks about workshops how to climb, how to do pruning. So it's more geared towards practitioners on the field, in the field. But PALM will be having a lot of talks on consulting. So they'll have a lot of more in-depth, not studies, but like more in-depth talks about, you know, how to manage soil, how to manage pests and
Yes.
disease. Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Thanks, all the speaker. We have one last question before I wrap up. From Miss Corinne Wu, what is the name of the book? I'm not sure which book that you mentioned. We talking about Jabatan Landscape Negara. We do have one book called Roadside Tree, a manual for roadside tree kind of name. Then another book is ISA Arboriculture Guidebook. So if you wish to purchase, you can go to ISA website and look for this publication. And can take up
buy it online.
By ISA. Not sure which course that you mentioned, because ISA is one of the it's an organization who arrange a lot of services. So let's say if you look for certain topic, you can register online. And if you talk about certified arborist course in Malaysia, you must register with Persatuan Arborist Malaysia. And very last one, yeah, okay. Yeah, very last one.
Wooden architecture.
Yeah.
Wooden architecture.
Wooden architecture maybe a bit off topic today, and we're running out of time. So sorry that the lecturer Toy. Maybe speaker who wish to answer, you can leave your email or your contact number with detail and question to the host. So the organizer will try to explain after the section. So lastly, I would like to make one summary about today's sharing, because we hear the sharing from different level of federal, state government, academician, even the specialists themselves. So what we can understand is all the planning and policies are there. Then throughout the planning stage, we need to implement and follow all these policy. At the same time, you need specialists to support all this planning so that the implementation on site will be fully guide and governance. So this is very important when you how you treat a tree and how you see the tree, the benefits of tree, and the how we implement and fully useful trees as part of our urban properties. So very thank you to all the speakers today. Landscape Architect Ruhaila, Mr. Chong, Prof. Ain, and Dr. Mazifah. I pass the room to Agatha again. Thank you so much. I'm Ying, your moderator today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ying.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.